All right, so the story of this axe. This was recently given to me in need of a little TLC. Had a little bit of surface rust and the handle was rotten. But I just wanted to comment a bit on who the axe belonged to. I grew up here in Danville and I was always fascinated at the iron ore mines and the history of the Danville iron industry. And somewhere in my late teens I was introduced to an amazing man by the name of Larry Morden. And Larry knew more than anyone I'd ever met about the iron mines of Montour County. And meeting him was just a game changer for my life. He inspired me in many ways. And he used to tell me stories of his grandfather, James Bryant. And he said Mr. Bryant had been a puddler, an iron worker at the Danville Iron Works, and then after the iron works closed down, he became a logger. Well, Larry passed away a little over a year ago, and he is missed. And his sister Gail gave me this axe. She said it belonged to their grandfather, James Bryant. And so this would have been his when he was a logger, probably here on Montour Ridge, and asked if I would put some work into it. So in the video I'll explain why I have these marks where they are, showing the process of how I made the hickory handle, and explain what I can about the story of the chemical axe logo that's on it. And also, it's faint, but there's a 4-pound mark on the other side that we discovered. And lastly, because I don't want to miss it in the video, I took a little piece of Mr. Bryant's original handle and I turned it into the hickory wedge that I used to hold this axe head on when I hung it. So a little piece of his original handle is worked into this axe. Although I prefer to work with ash, making ash handles, I was doing a logging job today in Catawissa and I got this piece of hickory. And so I'm going to show you how to split this out, and then I'm going to take that split piece of, that split billet as it's called, and I'm going to take that to a schnitzelbank, which is a Pennsylvania German word for a shaver's bench, a schnitzelbank, and I'm going to shave it down to an axe handle. This is still green. It's okay if we work it when it's green, shaving it, but I'm not going to finish it green. So I think what I'll do is I'll start it, I'll get it into the general shape of my axe handle, and then I'll put it off to dry. Sometimes a little trick I learned is if a small piece of wood, like an axe handle, I'll stick it inside of my truck with the windows up in the sun for a few weeks, and it's like a kiln. It'll dry it out pretty fast. You can't do that with a big piece of wood, but something small like this, it works. It may warp a little bit when it dries, we'll see, but that's my plan. So let's get working on this for the Morden family.
Oh, I wish the mines were still running on the other side of town. I drowned myself in labor in a life underground. There's something in a miner's life that's familiar to me, for it's only when I'm underground my mind is truly free.
But for the best tool handles, a lot of people prefer the sapwood. You think hardwood's better, but I guess for tool handles you want that strength, but you also want a little springiness. The other thing I want to point out is for an axe, you want the growth rings to run parallel with the axe. So like, for example, I could cut an axe, my axe handle there, or I could make one there, I could make one there. You don't want your axe, you don't want your growth rings to go perpendicular. You get better strength. Kind of hard to see on that one, but my growth rings are running like that. So something like that's what I'm shooting for here. So my next move will be to bust off a piece. I kind of like that over there, so why don't we go for that? I'm going to show you what we got. So here's our billet, and you have growth rings running like that. Fairly straight piece. So now I just got to work it down, make it a little smaller. We'll see how we do. Metal wedges. Shave that down a bit more. So at this point, I'm ready to take it to the Schnitzelbank. Das ist Schnitzelbank. So let's get this thing set up.
Oh, the house that I was
So I use that with my feet.
on top Montour Ridge was built upon a mine drift
Pretty big
through
chunk
the
here.
iron ore within. I dreamed I heard the miners sing at night as I would sleep. Their ghosts still down there digging ore 100 feet deep. And I've sung the song of a miner, though I've never worked below. The words just come to me like it's something that I know. Just a borrowed whisper I heard as a kid. Words of the miners who worked Montour.
You always make them extra long, keep it extra long because I'm going to cut that off. And the same with the base.
I've written many songs, now age 23. And now I'm wondering if the songs belong
Right,
true.
so here's the roughly carved billet, or the handle. I had some fun with this. I left a little bit of the heartwood on one side and the sapwood on the other, so you kind of get like a, not quite a 50-50, but I like how that's looking. And then, because it's still green and sappy, I'm going to put it in my truck and roll the windows up. And let it cook. That's my hillbilly kiln.
Where the mountains melt and the river flows into the take me upon Montour Ridge and sing the miner's prayer. Well, I've sung the song of a miner, though I've never worked below. The words just come to me like it's something that I know.
Once I got the rust off, I determined it was actually a Sager chemical axe. And all that means is the Sager company added a special chemical process to the manufacturing, and they claimed that would prevent it from rotting. So we got most of the rust removed, and time to sharpen it. I prefer to sharpen it now before it's on the handle, and I don't have a woodworking vise, so in other words I got to put some wood in there so I don't, if I put the metal vise on there, I'm going to scratch up my axe. I don't want to do that, so just put some wood in there. And good idea to wear gloves. That's a little added protection, because to do it right I like to sharpen into the blade. And you want a metal file, at least that's what I prefer, metal file. And a lot of people frown on using the grinding stone, so it just takes off a ton of material if you use a grinding stone. So you can kind of, takes a lot longer to use a file, but you have a lot more control.
Just a borrowed whisper I heard as a kid. Words of the miners who worked Montour Ridge. The miner is gone, we'll see him no more.
Mr. Bryant had placed some grip tape on 2 places on his axe handle, and so to pay tribute to his memory, what I wanted to do is think of a way that the new axe handle would still kind of pay tribute to those strips of tape. And so I did a little burning just to kind of give it that dark color right where he kept his grip tape on his original axe. And so the way to get the way you hang an axe, you can get it started by tapping it gently, just so that it holds on. But then you hold it upside down, and you whack it with a wooden mallet, and it'll go right on. in. I'll go ahead and pound the wedge in there. Cut the excess off. Okay, I got a pretty crazy idea here. I'm going to take the original handle and I'm going to see if I can get just enough good wood out of there to make a wedge so that some of his original handle is worked into the axe. So take it over to the bandsaw.
The house that I was raised on top of Montour was built upon a mine drift through the iron ore within. I dreamed I heard the miners sing at night as I would sleep. Their ghosts still down there digging ore 100 feet deep. And I've sung the song of a miner, though I've never.
Okay, I like to take just a little bit of pine tar and put it on my wedges so they stick. Put it this way, I don't think it hurts. I don't know how much good it really hurts.
Words of the miners who worked Montour Ridge. I've written many songs, now age 23, and now I'm wondering if the song.
Because don't we all want to remember 2020?
Or if they were a miner's words.
As a joke.
Whispers of a miner's.
Alright, time to treat these handles. Here's the new one. And I'm working on these guys as well. I like to use a 50-50 mix of boiled linseed oil and pine tar. This is pine tar I made about a month ago from pitch pine. It smells like barbecue ribs. Makes your tools smell like food. And it's a little on the cool side here, so it's a little gummy, but it'll mix really well with the pine tar. Get off there. Pine tar gives a really nice color, but also a really nice grip.
Of a miner's life I've borrowed from the ore. Well, when my time is ended and my songs are sung no more, I've asked you where to bury me in a song I've sung before. Down where the mountains melt and the river flows into the air. Take me upon Montour Ridge and sing the miners' prayer.
Turned out pretty cool, I think.
Well, I've sung the song of
Mr. James Bryant's double bit axe. There's the wedge we put in the end. It was a little piece of his original hickory handle. So let's see how she does. Got a piece of Montour Ridge chestnut oak here.
Words of the miners who worked Montour Ridge.
I just can't tell you what an honor it is, though, to hold this axe and kind of help carry on the legacy of Mr. James Bryant, a real Danville Ironman.
The miner is gone, we'll see